I did not watch the Oscars live. I was watching something else. Looked down at Twitter, saw the reaction, went back and watched it. It took me one time watching it to say, this is 100% not a work. This is real. That was a real hit, and he was really offended and mad and walked up there and did that and sat back down. The unedited version is the one that everyone needs to see.
Chris, there are people that are like pausing the video and like you could see Chris Rock lean into it and take the slap. Like he knew he was going to be slapped and not punched.
Well, he's leaning into it because he thinks it's going to be like either a hug or like a joke.
He's not leaning in like a hug.
It's like a joke or something. I don't. He's not. I didn't see that.
He's leaning in and sticking his face out like to be slapped. And people are saying that it was a work, but I didn't think that. And Claire was watching it live, and then I was doing something else, and she got my attention and made me watch it. And I was like, yeah, he's really upset. What I missed out on was he's laughing at the joke to begin, and then takes the stage after that.
He's laughing. His wife is not laughing at the joke and looks highly
Which is
offended.
typical for these shows.
Yeah, highly offended.
The celebrities don't laugh at jokes about themselves, typically.
Yeah, even I watched a little bit of the opening monologue, and they made a joke about J.K. Simmons, the veteran character actor. Yeah. And they said, boy, the pandemic's been really rough on Timothy Chalamet. And they panned to the audience, and it was J.K. Simmons, and he did not seem amused by it. And I'm thinking, like, what? Come on. I mean, you're a 60-something-year-old man. That's the joke.
But that's typical. I mean, that's why Ricky Gervais crushes it, is because he stands up there at these award shows. I know he's been banned since, I guess, and just rips into these celebrities that absolutely hate it. But they sit there and take it.
I mean, of the jokes that Chris Rock has made over the course of his career and the jokes he's made hosting the Oscars before.
Yeah.
That was as tame a joke as I've seen. Honestly, Regina Hall, one of the hosts, joke about their open marriage to Jada Pinkett Smith in one of her little monologues was way over the top compared to a G.I. Jane joke to Jada Pinkett Smith. I have to believe, Hutton, that there is previous bad blood. I know people were posting, I think it was 2016 or 2017, where Jada Pinkett Smith boycotted the Oscars because Will wasn't nominated one year.
Oh.
And he had like a minute worth of material when they weren't there about how no one asked Jada Pinkett Smith to ever come to the Oscars in the first place. So you're really not getting much done with a boycott. And a whole comedy bit about that. Maybe it built up from that, and Will Smith took offense to that before, and then this just set it over the top. I don't know, but I know this. I haven't watched the Oscars. This was an event I would watch start to finish for years. I haven't watched in a few years. I've seen 2 of the 10 nominated films for Best Picture. That was a hell of a television spectacle that we watched last night. Regardless of how you feel about it, what side you come down on, I agree with Will Smith, or I think that Chris Rock, had the worst end of that, whatever. The bottom line is we're talking about the Oscars for the first time in a while, and it was
that's the only reason to.
Quite the spectacle with that. I found myself, Hutton, watching it over and over again, and it was so uncomfortable. Like, I had a hard time going to sleep at first. I'm like, what is going on that Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air of my childhood, got so worked that he walked on stage, millions of people across the world watching the show, and open hands slapped a man as hard as he could on stage. And then for Chris Rock to stand there to say something back to him and then try to compose himself to give the best documentary feature award away was just remarkable television. Start to finish.
Remarkable rerun television. Because
oh my goodness.
I would say, 80% of the viewing audience total, maybe more, maybe it's up to 90 now. We're not watching that show live when it happened.
No, I mean, you got it on social media. Like, I saw someone post something about, someone on social media said, man, I really want my husband to have that Will Smith defense energy of me or something. I'm thinking, okay, what is that? Then I go to Twitter and I see Clay Travis tweeting about it, and now they're thinking, okay, I got to go back. I'm recording the Oscars because if anything big happens, I want to go back and see it. I'm not recording it to watch all 3.5 hours. So thank goodness I recorded it, go back to it, fast forward to that point, and see it happen. And I don't know your reaction. You said Claire was watching, then you watched it. I thought it was real. People were debating, throughout the night whether or not it's real. I thought it was real the first time I saw it. That was my first inclination. Because of the way they took out the sound and stopped it also with what they were saying back and forth on the American version of the show. I knew it was
on the
real.
network broadcast.
Yeah.
But some of the other countries were releasing this unedited version. That's where you can tell like how upset he was. But in real time, I couldn't tell whether or not he actually slapped him or not. Like I didn't know if they were because of the way the camera angle was shot. Right? Like was this WWE or is this? Did he punch him? Because Chris Rock just kind of stands there and takes it, and then just doesn't react to it one way or the other. Like he doesn't lose balance. He just stands there, gets slapped, and then continues with his bit.
I mean, who knew that Chris Rock could take a hit like that?
Well, but that's what makes it look so fake, is the fact that he doesn't lose his balance. He leans forward, he puts his chin up into it, and takes the slap, and then he goes. Will Smith immediately turns around and goes back to his seat. In any other setting, there's security involved. There is, in our case, we absolutely wouldn't be just allowed to just leave the premise, right? I mean, you're being charged with something, and I know the story is that he declined to press charges, but still, I mean that.
No, and I'm glad he did.
He goes from slapping Chris Rock to accepting Best Actor.
Well, he goes from slapping Chris
Rock
to accepting
involved.
Best Actor and then getting a standing ovation for winning Best Actor. And nothing happened to the guy. Look at the shock. There is this, we can find it too.
No,
Ellie, if you can't find this and post on Instagram, there is a grid of all the A-list celebrities' face when he walks up and slaps Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And just the shock and awe of everyone in the audience when he does that. And then later, they're all standing and applauding. And Will Smith goes up there. He bawls throughout the speech when he's accepting the speech. And he's talking about, my calling in life is as a defender of my family, just like Richard Williams, and comparing himself to Richard Williams. And I'm thinking to myself, that's great on principle. I watched King Richard, okay? Richard Williams, and you portrayed this in the film. When Richard Williams defended his family, he was defending his daughters of being assaulted by gang members in Compton in part of the movie. You had a millionaire comedian make a G.I. Jane joke. That's a little bit different, I think, in the grand scheme of, are you that in character, that you're just in that mode? And he talked about, now I look like the crazy dad also. No, you are by doing that. I thought it was just insanely over the top.
That
for anyone.
moment.
I could understand him taking, because of the medical condition where she lost her hair, taking offense to that. I can understand him yelling something at Chris Rock, or even approaching Chris Rock after the ceremony and saying, hey, this is why I take offense to that, and explaining it. But to get up from your seat and walk up there and slap him in the face on television, that was, people were, asked the question, could you see this coming from Will Smith? I couldn't see this coming from anyone.
Yeah. Ice
Cube is an actor, and he was in NWA. I couldn't see Ice Cube standing up and going and slapping a man on national TV during the Oscars. I wouldn't expect that from anyone, much less Will Smith.
Well, what this moment encapsulated is everything that Hollywood is about. Self-importance. You don't know what's real and what's fake or what's scripted. And on top of everything else, he mentions what does he mention in his speech? I'm
about love.
Love makes you do crazy things, and then to a standing ovation.
Yeah,
to a standing ovation from Hollywood.
Well, and also this is the most anti-physical violence at any time crowd.
Oh, absolutely.
Physical violence is never justified by 98% of the people in that Hollywood acting community and crowd. And they stood there, said nothing, did nothing, watched it happen, and later gave the man who assaulted another man in front of everyone a standing ovation. And then the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences dares to release a statement after that says something like, the Academy does not condone violence of any kind. And I'm thinking, you condoned it. You did. Not a security guard was inside.
Nothing.
No one did anything. No one went and asked Will Smith, are you okay? Please be quiet. You're shouting obscenities on a network broadcast over everyone else. Not a thing happened. So
well, they weren't going to do that because he's winning their main award.
I mean, what a night.